Tonight, backed up by an armored SWAT vehicle with guns drawn, the FBI arrested a 21-year-old Airman first class in the Massachusetts National Guard, working in IT in their intelligence wing, who the government says is the source of that major intelligence leak.
After Washington, D.C. was embarrassed online for spying on its own allies, an arrest was finally made regarding the leak of documents that showed this, together with the reality of the Ukraine's weakness in this war. Now, some are saying that he's a traitor, while others are calling him a hero. So which is he for you? In something similar, the documents have also shown one ally of the United States to whom we've sent millions of dollars, millions of taxpayer money, mind you, with an attempt to provide Russia with thousands of missiles. Wow. If you're wondering which country tried to do this, I'm just going to break it to you. It was Egypt. Republicans are ready to talk about the debt ceiling, but it may come at the expense of canceling student loan forgiveness and more budget cuts while recovering $100 billion in C-19 funds. Now, one controversial clause is that the SNAP and EBT benefits would also have working requirements. Does this make sense for you, and do you agree with this? Now, it's also said that a default could possibly cost us $20,000 in retirement savings. Now, this is not something that anybody will want to hear or deal with at this point. And speaking of something that we don't want, another accident that has happened within the country, and believe it or not, it revolves around another explosion. Man, I am literally getting tired of these explosions happening all across the United States. Now, before I continue, please do me a huge favor by liking this video. It helps get this information out to more people who need to hear about it. And if you're new here, and if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, global happenings, the state of our economy, the stock market, the housing market, and anything going down in Washington, D.C., make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for the best way to invest in gold or silver, make sure to check out the links in the description down below this video. So Jack Douglas Teixeira, a 21-year-old member of the United States Air National Guard, was treated as an enemy of the state as he allegedly leaked classified documents to social media sites in what many are calling the most serious breach of our intelligence since the WikiLeaks website in 2010. Now, Teixeira was an IT specialist and joined the Air National Guard in 2019 by working as a cyber transport systems journeyman. Now, the documents were visible for supposedly weeks, and that made the White House's discovery of it that much more embarrassing. One of the leaks also showed that Egypt, an ally of a country that the United States has sent millions of taxpayer dollars to, actually had plans to send 40,000 rockets to Russia.
Egypt secretly planned to supply 40,000 rockets to Russia. Leaked U.S. intelligence documents indicate that Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi planned to produce 40,000 rockets for Russia in February and instructed officials to keep the production and shipment of rockets secret to avoid problems with the West. The president of Egypt, one of America's closest allies in the Middle East and a major recipient of U.S. aid, recently ordered subordinates to produce up to 40,000 rockets to be covertly shipped to Russia, according to a leaked U.S. intelligence document. The Washington Post reported that a portion of a top-secret document dated the 17th of February sums up purported conversations between Sisi and senior Egyptian military officials and references plans to supply Russia with artillery rounds and gunpowder.
National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby did not confirm if the documents were real, but it did warn that the material was not for public consumption. In other words, they're probably true, but we've got no business in knowing about it. At least one person wasn't that worried about it, though. Who is this?
I'm not concerned about the leakages, and I'm concerned that it happened. But there's nothing contemporaneous that I'm aware of that is of great consequence.
Do you agree with the president? I mean, giving a country millions of dollars and then have them turn around to give our enemies weapons, it's kind of a slap in the face. What do you guys think? Now, President Biden should probably worry a little bit more, as polls are showing that he's not doing very much for the American people, especially for the middle class.
Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realize we have fundamental disagreements on this, but ran for office with a new economic vision for America. Invest in America, educate Americans, grow the workforce, build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down, because we know when the middle class grows, the poor have a way up and the wealthy do very well.
This footage was from last year. Now, fast forward to today where Pelosi isn't sitting there anymore and things have changed quite a bit. Even though the president has talked about helping the middle class, a poll shows that more than half of middle class Americans surveyed have not benefited from any of his policies. When asked about lower income families, 42% of respondents said that poor families have not benefited from Biden's policies as well. But what do you guys think? Is this accurate? Is this wrong? What? Has any of the Biden administration's policies helped you out? Did he fulfill his promise of building the economy from the bottom up and from the middle out, building it back better? Now, on the topic of unfulfilled promises, the student loan forgiveness plan may have found another wall as House Republican leaders may include it in a deal for the debt ceiling. Include is a tricky term here, as this debt ceiling package would raise the limit until May 2024. Although the aim of limiting budget growth to 1% annually over the next decade by banning student loan forgiveness, placing work requirements on welfare programs like SNAP and EBT, and retracting unspent C-19 funds, which amounts to at least $100 billion, if not closer to that $400 billion mark. Now, raising the debt limit is kind of a big deal. A report from the Joint Economic Committee found that a default will cause a spike in private student loan payments, possibly raise the monthly mortgage payment by $150 a month, and it could cost Americans $20,000 in retirement savings. Now, some are saying that instead of cutting the budget for programs that help Americans, lawmakers should instead take pay cuts and show us just how much they want to help the American people. Now, I'm not so sure if this is going to be popular with anybody who's in office right now. What is popular is the amount of accidents that we continue to see this year. I mean, we've seen a lot of them last year too, right? About 18,000 cows were killed in a blast at a Texas dairy farm with one person in critical condition. Now, according to the report, machinery in the facility may have ignited methane gas, although that must have been a lot of gas if, think about this, guys, 18,000 cows were killed. I mean, like, that's a lot of freaking cows. Can you believe what's happening around us? More importantly, is this the real story on what happened with these cows? I mean, I'm just having a very hard time believing that 18,000 cows got wiped out by some blast and only one person got hurt. I don't know, guys. It's just hard to think that explosions and fires continue to affect our food supply, our food system, but yet here we are. What are your thoughts on all of today's updates? Make sure to let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Now, when it comes to what's happening to us on a daily basis, it would be appropriate to say that most of us are just surviving until the next paycheck comes. Anybody here in the same boat? Your paycheck arrives, and before you can even touch it, it's already gone to your rent or mortgage, your credit card bills, to your car payments, and most of our needs. I said most since there are times where our paycheck can't even buy everything that we need. And this is honestly not the American dream. But what can we do to build up our cash flow is the real question. You can look into developing small businesses or even try your hand at side hustles. These can open up more opportunities and provide you with multiple streams of income. You can even try to protect your wealth if you have it already. One of the ways you can do this is through precious metals, silver, gold, and if you have more than enough, you can also look into investments in the stock market or real estate. However, it's not easy to dive into these things without a guide, and I understand that. So if you guys want to learn more about this, feel free to let me know. Just drop me a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to create more videos like this for you guys. Now, before I go, please don't forget to drop a huge thumbs up for the video. Also subscribe to the channel. Please be kind to one another, and I will see you guys on the next one.